I just think it's pretty basic. If you didn't fight in a war, don't imply you did.
Okay.
Be in favor of the Civil Rights Act in 2010. And if you're Newt Gingrich, don't compare President Obama to Nazi Germany.
Oh, good. Check, check, check.
By the way, we've got to get the Newt Gingrich clip. It is so over the top. So
I'm glad you let me sit here at the table.
Comparing,
Let it go with Mike Allen. Thank you very much.
Comparing Barack Obama's policies to Stalin, who killed 50 million of his own people, and Hitler killed 6 million Jews and was responsible for a war that killed tens of millions of people, saying Barack Obama poses as much of a risk as Stalin and Hitler? That's sick. That is just sick.
All right, coming up.
I hope you sell a lot of books, Newt.
New developments out of Thailand, where the government may have finally regained control of the violence there.
I hope you apologize for that shameful remark.
The secular socialist machine represents as great a threat to America as Nazi Germany or the Soviet Union once did. Mr. Speaker, respectfully, isn't that wildly over the top?
No, not if by America you mean the historic contract we've had, which says your rights come from your creator. As a threat to our way of life, the degree to which the secular socialist left represents a fundamental replacement of America, a very different worldview, a very different outcome, I think is a very serious threat to our way of life.
Welcome to Morning Joe. It's 7 on the East Coast, 4 out west. I don't know what time it is where Newt Gingrich is
I
right
don't
now.
even know what to say.
But to compare, and let's be very clear here, Newt Gingrich just compared Barack Obama and where he wants to take America with where Stalin took the Soviet Union, killing 40, 50 million of his own people, where Hitler took Nazi Germany, where if you were a Jew, you would be sent to Dachau or Auschwitz. I think Speaker Gingrich needs to visit Auschwitz before making those comparisons again. I don't know if he's ever been there.
Well, Joe, you know, this is particularly bad. I'm sorry, Harold. I mean, this is pure wingnuttery, and it's the worst thing about it is that you know that Gingrich is an extremely scholarly, highly educated historian. So it's even more lamentable if he starts to revert to this kind of rhetoric.
And that's what I don't understand, because Newt, you can sit and listen to Newt for an hour, and he's a brilliant speaker, he's a brilliant thinker. But you're right, when he resorts to this sort of rhetoric, you go, why? Again, comparing Barack Obama to Hitler and
whether you
Stalin.
agree with him or not, he has proposed raising some fees and taxes to provide health care to the overwhelming majority of Americans. You may not like that, but I don't know how you call that, how you compare it to Nazi Germany. He's decided that we need a plan to reduce carbon emissions and put America on a firmer platform to produce alternative energy. You may not like the way he wants to do it, but that's not Nazi Germany.
I was just going to say,
he has proposed.
I oppose the president's domestic policies, but guess what?
Right.
The policies were far more left-wing in the 60s and 70s. Even when Richard Nixon was president, we had wage and price controls in the early 1970s. Imagine if Barack Obama did. No, I'm saying I oppose. And the debt's going straight up. But to compare this to Hitler. Third subject, we've got Newt Gingrich saying something that I just think is deplorable on Fox News. Take a listen to this.
The secular socialist machine represents as great a threat to America as Nazi Germany or the Soviet Union once did. Mr. Speaker, respectfully, isn't that wildly over the top?
No, not if by America you mean the historic contract we've had, which says your rights come from your creator. As a threat to our way of life, the degree to which the secular socialist left represents a fundamental replacement of America, a very different worldview, a very different outcome, I think is a very serious threat to our way of life.
And Rick, a horrific statement to be made. I do think, though, again, because obviously the Soviet Union killed, what, 50, 60, 70 million of their own people. Hitler, of course, we don't have to talk about his crimes against humanity. They're very well known. But I do think practically this answers a question of whether Newt Gingrich is running for president or trying to sell books. This guy is not running for president. You do not compare Barack Obama to Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin and run for president the next year.
I guess I just find it always amazing that politicians can't say, instead of just saying,
yes, that's true, or that's the case. They can't say, yeah, that's a little exaggerated, or maybe I shouldn't have said that. They can't show that human impulse. I mean, the fact that the speaker has to go and defend something which is indefensible. He himself is a historian. He certainly knows the comparison between Stalin and
He's a brilliant man. I saw him over at 10 Questions Time magazine when he insulted Mika Brzezinski and her father, but he is a brilliant man, and I think the fact that he is as brilliant as he is makes this short-handed attack all the more offensive to you.
I mean, you know, pinning a Hitler mustache, you know, on Obama, this whole idea, you know, John Avlon in his book Wingnuts, you know, calls it Obama derangement syndrome, and it is. It's Obama derangement syndrome.
Completely agree. And these three stories are fascinating. We need to flesh them out a little bit coming up in the political roundtable.